Now, I've heard people say, people on the Daily Wire, they'll say something like, we think the left is wrong, but the left thinks those on the right are evil, and that's the
Yeah.
difference. And I wonder if that's just a little too easy there. It seems to me that the underdog is usually the one more willing to talk because he doesn't have the power. And even though people on the left would probably say, well, the right have the power because they have Trump in the Oval Office, that doesn't seem to be true at all, culturally speaking. So I wonder if it was the other way around, if you've got mainstream media, big tech, Hollywood, if they were all kind of people who are very conservative, maybe you'd find that the right would be more willing to have open dialogues, whereas the left would be aggressive and loud and shout people down. It just seems too easy to kind of want to canonize one side and say the other are nuts. But I don't know much about politics, so feel free to tell me where I might be missing the point there.
Well, I think at the end there you might have actually said that backwards.
Oh, thank you.
Because the left is the one that's shouting people down. The
Yes,
right are the one. So I think you might have said that backwards.
I did. Thank you.
But the point, the broader point is, first off, that quote of the left says you're evil and the right says you're wrong. That's, I think, originally a Dennis Prager quote, and I do use it. I do use it often because I think it's, broadly speaking, I think it's right. So I can give you a couple examples on this. So I lay all these positions out in my book. So I'm obviously for gay marriage. I'm married to a man, right? So that's something that's thought of as lefty.
Yep.
I'm begrudgingly pro-choice. That's something that's
can't wait to talk about that. That's impressive.
No, we can get into it, but even though I'm not for 8-month abortions, the idea of being pro-choice at any level is thought of as something that's lefty. I'm against the death penalty. That's thought of as something that's lefty. I'm for some level of public education, but I'm starting to waver on that one because the state is so out of control right now. And now that the Democrats are trying to take away charter schools and homeschooling and everything else, I'm struggling with that one. But my point is, I have a bunch of positions that are generally thought of as somewhat lefty positions, right? Now, I can talk to anyone on the right about those things. I've debated gay marriage with Ben Shapiro. I've debated the death penalty with Dennis Prager. Just a ton of these issues. Abortion with a zillion people. And what happens is everyone says, we'll agree to disagree. Okay, that's your thoughts. I have my thoughts. We live in a big country. We're going to work it out. It's okay. We don't all have to think the same thing. The left, I think what has happened, and this may sort of get us into something that's a little more of your wheelhouse, is I think leftism as it stands now, whatever you want to call it, collectivism, Marxism, this thing that we're watching burst forth into society everywhere, it has become religious in nature, in the negative sense of religion, right? And I don't mean to say
no.
religion is
I know what you mean.
by any stretch. If anything, I'm more religious. I'm more of a believer now than I've been at any point in my adult life. But what I mean is they believe purely sort of in the secular world. And through that, they think that they can correct humans at all turns. They can eliminate racism.
Human nature.
Yeah, you can't eliminate racism. There are always going to be racists. Now, you can hopefully illuminate racist people with better ideas so that you take that away. But the idea of eliminating racists, we're going to have to kill a lot of people, right? People are entitled to have bad ideas, and you hopefully can counter those bad ideas with good ideas. I think they have so removed any belief other than what they believe in right now and how they can accomplish it through the power of the state, which is what they want to use state power to do whatever they want, that it has, this is cliche, but I think that there is a God-sized hole in their hearts. And they then fill that with any sort of secular belief. I was chatting with Peter Thiel a couple of days ago, actually. He said something that I thought was quite brilliant. He said, if you never look up, so if you never look vertically, then you'll always look horizontally. And I really think that's
a really good point. Yeah.
If you never look to something above you, whatever that might be, and we can debate what that is and why religions have different senses of what that means, then you'll always look around here. And if you always look around here for the material and what's here and now, you'll always be trying to control it and get meaning out of it. And I don't think that can lead. I think perhaps if you're an exceptional person, that can lead you to a pretty extraordinary life. But I don't think societies can organize around just what is here and now. What you get with that is exactly what we have right now, which is sort of this destructive chaos that's spreading throughout the West.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I find it difficult. How are you going to ground objective moral facts if you're only looking horizontally? In other words, if something's right or wrong and I ought to do it or I ought not to do it, who is it that's issuing that command to me? If it comes from below me, if it comes from evolution, and I can now understand it, then I can thwart it. If it comes from, as you say, horizontally, then why the hell should I care what you think about what I should do and what I shouldn't do? If I think this will make me happy, I can choose to say it. Society just means other people. Why should I be terribly interested in what they have to think? It seemed to me that if God exists, then we have kind of a firm foundation for these objective moral facts that we all want to kind of hold to, like racism is wrong and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, that's why Ben Shapiro's line about facts don't care about your feelings, I think that's why it really took off. Because what happens is if you base your worldview on just you feel something, you just feel very strongly about something. Well, guess what? The guy next to you, he feels very strongly about something too,
right.
But the chances that you both feel exactly the same strength about the exact same issues is pretty slim. And then what you'll do is destroy each other.
Exactly.
So that's why what's happening right now on the left is a real movement of chaos and destruction. And what I think is broadly happening on the right is a movement of, hey, let's agree to disagree. Let's see if, some of us are real Trump people, some of us are more libertarian, some of us are more traditional conservatives, but let's see if we can piece this thing together and build a society that's open for everybody. But if you base it all in what you feel, well, man, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I believe most of these people, their intentions are good. I want to eliminate racism. Well, that is a nice thought. I don't think their intentions are to murder people. But, where this will end will be with a lot of gulags and wrongthink and other bad things.
It reminds me of Father Zosima in the Brothers Karamazov. He was recounting a story of a woman that spoke to him, and she said, the more I love humanity, the less I can stand the person in the same room with me. It feels like that, It's very easy to talk about fighting for humanity and people's rights and not give a flying crap about the person who lives in the same house as you or your parents or people around you. I think the reason, like the right, and maybe we should define our term soon, is makes more sense and is less likely to become tyrannical, is it seems that there's a religious basis for many people on the left, that they think that God exists and so objective truth can be accessed, right, can be known, and that also there is such a thing as human nature. Whereas it seems to me like if God doesn't exist and we're just sort of like this evolved kind of primates on this speck of dust, then we can sort of come up with whatever reality we want to come up with because there's no objective sort of moral facts and human nature isn't really a thing. So I think it's that it seems right to me that I suppose the logic would seem usually to lay on those on the left, only because I think they have like a Christian basis a lot of the time. I would say it has something to do with the you could sort of give a religious framing to this, but I would say it has something to do with the fundamental way you look at the world. I look at the world as it is, not as how I want it to be. I don't need the world to bend to exactly what I think. I can put my thoughts out there. We can have conversations like this. Hopefully someone listening to this will go, oh, Matt's right about that, Rubin's wrong about this, and then piece something together. And then find, for anyone listening to this or watching this, hopefully that helps them find a cohesive worldview that makes sense. But I don't exist on this planet to make someone bow to my views. I believe that human beings are flawed. We all are flawed, and I absolutely include myself in that. So what happens is the people on the left, they think that they can somehow build a perfect system. They will tell you, we're going to eliminate racism, we'll eliminate sexism, we'll eliminate homophobia, and blah, blah, blah. Now, to do that, as I said before, you're going to have to kill a lot of people. They're basically Thanos from the Marvel movies, from Avengers. Thanos knew that there were finite resources in the universe. And what he said is, I will do the thing that no one else will do. I will wipe out half the living organisms in the universe. That's not, but he thought he was the good guy. The good guy doesn't kill half the people. But that's why socialism and communism, when they arrive, they come guised in tolerance and diversity and openness. But what falls right beneath that is a really totalitarian nature where I think people on the right go, you know what? I'm not perfect. I don't think we can build a perfect system. All you can do is build a system that hopefully will protect people's rights. What they do in their life is pretty much up to them.
Thank you for watching this clip. You can click here to watch the full episode. And I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors and to our amazing patrons for making all of this possible. Please do us a favor before you go. Click that subscribe button and then the bell, and that way YouTube will be forced to let you know every time we put out a new episode.